Good evening to you all. Welcome to another video in the series of question solving, where we are trying to cover the polity through this unique series of question solving. So, in the series of this question solving, in this video, we are trying to take this chapter of preamble, which is a very important chapter in the polity. So, coming to the first question. In the following quotation, we the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign socialist secular democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. So we all know that if you have any familiarity with this passage, so we can easily say that this is the preamble of our Indian constitution. So in this question, it is asking that in our constituent assembly this acts do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this constitution. X stand for. So what does the X stand for in this passage, in this preamble? So if you have any understanding, then you can easily guess out that this is X is talking about the date of adoption of our constitution. So the date of adoption was, we know that, 26th of November 1949, and on this date each year the Constitution Day is also celebrated. So the answer is 26th of November 1949. So before coming to the second question, I would like to briefly discuss about the preamble. So first thing which comes to in our mind is that what is the meaning of word preamble? So this word preamble can be understood with an analogy, like when we read a book, there is a preface in the very beginning of the book. So it is just like a preface to constitution, or we can say that it is introduction to constitution. So this is what the meaning of the preamble. And talking about the evolution of the preamble, that how did this concept of preamble came into the mind of our constitutional makers? Like this preamble, this practice of adopting the preamble in the constitution has been derived from the American Constitution. So it was the first country which adopted this preamble in their constitution, and the basis, the philosophy behind the preamble in our Indian constitution was basically based on the objective resolution. So the practice was adopted from the American constitution, that there should be a preamble uh, in our constitution, but what will be the content of that preamble was basically based on the objective resolution which was moved by Jawaharlal Nehru, the then Prime Minister of India, on 13th of December 1946. So this was the first session of our Constituent Assembly, first session of Constituent Assembly. So in this very session, the Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru moved a resolution which was famously called as objective resolution. So this resolution basically talked about the content of the preamble, that what will be the content of the preamble. Like it decided then what will be the nature of our state. State here means the country, the India. What will be the nature? What type of polity will be there in our India? What will be the objective of Indian state? That what all objective have to be fulfilled by the state for the welfare of people. So the content was basically based on this objective resolution. So this is all about the very basics about the preamble. And other thing you must know that this preamble has been made after made after whole constitution is made. And the reason behind making this preamble after whole constitution was made is simply that this preamble is well synchronized with the philosophy of our constitution. So it will be like soul of the constitution which was put in this preamble. So and other next important thing about the preamble is that it has been only once amended once, which was through 42nd amendment, 42nd constitutional amendment 1976. And here through this amendment words were added to this preamble. First was that socialist word was added, second was secular, and third word was integrity. So do remember this, that these three words were not real present in the original constitution, or we can say that original preamble. These three words were added through this 42nd amendment, which was done in year 1976 during the prime ministership of Mrs. Indira Gandhi. So these are some brief information about the preamble. So coming back to the question, now with this little information, we can easily solve the question related to the preamble, the basic part of the preamble. Like coming to the question, what the question says that what was the exact constitutional status of Indian Republic on 26th of January 1950? So it was the date on which our constitution was basically enforced, and these days we celebrate as Republic Day. So on this very date, our constitution came into force. So what was the exact constitutional status on this date? So I told you that the preamble was amended only once, and the year was 1976. So to solve these type of question, you must have bit information about the preamble, that what are the basic terminologies or the word has been used in the preamble, and what were the added later. So you have to remember the basic some part of the preamble so that you can easily solve this question. Like the preamble says that we the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign socialist secular democratic republic. So I told you that these words were added later, like socialist word was added later, secular was also added later, and this word integrity was added later. So these three words were added later. So this question is asking about the status on the date when the constitution came into force. So obviously these three words will not be there. So in this way we can solve this question, that sovereign democratic republic. First we will go through this first option. It was there, but the sovereign was also there, so this can also be right. Now coming to the C option, is sovereign secular democratic republic. Secular word was not there, socialist word was not there. This is actually the present status. So we can say that the answer is B, sovereign democratic republic, because socialist and the secular were added later. So as I told you in the beginning. So this is the right answer of this question. Answer is B. Now coming to the second question, third question, right? What was the exact constitutional status of India on 26th of January 1950? So this is a similar question which we have solved recently. So it was it was sovereign, it was democratic, it was republic. Secular was not there, socialist secular was not there. So the answer here comes to B. So B is the right answer. Now coming to next question. The words secular socialist were added to the preamble of Indian Constitution by. So I told you that only one amendment has been done in the preamble. That was 42nd amendment in year 1976 during the tenure of Miss Indira Gandhi. Mrs. Indira Gandhi. So 42nd amendment is the right answer. Why which name in our is our country mentioned in the constitution? So for this this is a very static question. So as we know that article 1 of our Indian constitution says that India, that is Bharat. So India word is there, Bharat word is also there. So shall be a union of state. Always remember that the word federation has not been used anywhere in the constitution. uh, and I will tell you about the reason why this word federal system or federation has not been used like in the USA. So it was article 1 says that India, that is Bharat. So this Bharat word has been used and India is used. So here the answer is A. Coming to next question. In the context of preamble of Indian Constitution, which of the following sequence is correct? So for solving this type of question, you must have some um, basic we can say that you must remember the preamble, not whole preamble, but if you read it uh, multiple time, like, so you will remember it. So what was this question? So in the context of preamble of Indian Constitution, which of the following sequence is correct? So you must remember this correct sequence of the word which has been used. So I told you that we the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So this is the correct order of SSS: sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So these are very important word. At least you can remember this this part of the preamble, because generally question are asked from this part only. So here the answer is sovereign, socialist, democratic. People's word is not there. Sovereign, socialist, people, democratic, secular, socialist. Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So here the answer is D, because the word, you must be very clear that what all word has been used in the preamble. So you must remember the exact word. This people word has not been used, and this people word has not been used. So here the answer is D. Which of the following, coming to the next question, which of the following is not mentioned, word is not mentioned in the preamble of the constitution? So there are very few words which you have to remember in this preamble. So we can guess the answer of this question, that sovereign word has been used, democratic has been used, secular has been used. This word federal has not been used in the preamble. Like we can say that sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So this is the beginning part. Justice, equality, fraternity, these are also the important words which you have to remember. This date you can also remember, that 26th of November 1949. On this date the constitution was adopted by the Constituent Assembly, and this day is also celebrated as the Constitution Day. So this federal word, I told you that federal word has not been used in the Indian Constitution, neither in the preamble. So here the answer is D. Coming to the next question, in which form is India declared in the preamble of Indian Constitution? So we can say is sovereign, socialist, democratic republic, is socialist, democratic republic, is sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So you have to be very careful about the words. because these word has been used. But beside these, we can, if we come to option C, that these word are also there: sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic. So answer is C. Answer is C. So coming to the next question, consider the following words. So this preamble basically is a play of words. If you are clear about the words, that what are the meaning of these particular words, and which all word are has been used in the preamble, then you can easily solve these questions related to the preamble. Socialist is there, democratic is there, sovereign is there, secular is there. So all these words are used, but here the question is asking the correct sequence. So I told you that sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic. So sovereign, C is there first. Sovereign, socialist, C, A, D, B. So answer is A. Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic. So these word I told you that were added later. This sovereign word was earlier present in the preamble. So in this way you can remember that sovereign was there already, and this socialist and secular were added later. So in this way you can remember these words. Like, coming to the next question, which of the following word have been added to the preamble by 42nd amendment? So I told you that socialist is used, secular has been added. This is not at all present in the preamble. Sovereign was already there in the original preamble. So the answer is only 1 and 3. So the answer is B. Which of the following describe India as a secular state? So secular word has been used in the preamble, though the meaning of secular word, if we go the this that how India is a secular country, then we can also derive from the fundamental right, because article 15 to 18 talks about this secular state only, that India, how the India has the freedom of religion. So these articles are related to this, and the basic philosophy behind this article is basically the secular nature of Indian state. But the word there has not been used secular. Secular word has been used in the preamble only. So the answer here is the preamble to the constitution. Coming to the next question, which of the following word was not included in the preamble of the Indian constitution in 1975? So this was the year of emergency, and we know that in 1976 amendment was done. So this is talking about the situation before the amendment. So which word was not there? Fraternity was there, equality was there, sovereignty was there, integrity was not there. So I told you that sovereign, socialists, secular, and integrity were the three words which were added. So in this way you can remember these words, that socialist word was added later, secular was added later, and this word integrity was also added later. So here the answer is D, integrity. Coming to question number 13, consider the following statement in regard to preamble of the constitution and select the correct using the code given below. The first statement says that the objective resolution by Jawaharlal Nehru finally became the preamble. So I told you in the beginning that this preamble was based on objective resolution, objective resolution, which was passed by Jawaharlal Nehru on 13th of December 1946, which was the first session of Constituent Assembly. So this statement is absolutely correct. Second statement is that it is non-justiciable. So always remember that this preamble is just a declaration. It is a declaration that what will be the nature of the state, that it will be a republic, democratic, secular, sovereign. So this is the basically the nature of a state. And second is the objective, that what objective this constitution has to fulfill. So this is just a declaration, it is not a law. So always remember that it is a non-justiciable part of our constitution. So with this we can say that as it is a declaration, so it is non-justiciable. And fourth statement says that it can't be amended. And fourth says that preamble cannot override the specific provision of the constitution. So to make you clear about these two statements, I will first explain you two cases which are very important or very relevant to this topic of preamble. So when this preamble was adopted, as we know that after the constitution was made, this preamble was made, and it was adopted. We know that the constitution was adopted on 26th of January 1950. But with this adoption of the constitution, later the question arises of the significance was that whether this preamble is part of constitution or not. So this was a significant question which arose later. So there was one famous case regarding this question, which was put in Supreme Court, Beru Bari Union. It is a place in West Bengal. So I will explain you later that in the chapter of union territories we will learn more in detail about this about this case. But here the only significant thing you have to know that it was this case took place in 1960s, and the question was that whether preamble is part of constitution or not. So in this particular case, the Supreme Court said that preamble is not a part of constitution, not a part of constitution. First thing was that it is not a part of constitution. Second thing, the Supreme Court said that though it is not a part of constitution, but it can help in interpreting the provision of constitutions, the provisions of constitution. So for example, like there is a confusion that whether India is a secular state or not. Though we know that there are various provisions in the fundamental right from article 25 to 28, we have fundamental right regarding the right to freedom of religion. In a way, it can be interpreted that India is a secular state. But suppose a confusion arises. So in that case, the Supreme Court can refer to preamble, and we know that in the preamble this secular word has been clearly mentioned. So in this way, this preamble can have a very significant role in interpreting the provision of constitution. So this was a particular case where this question was solved, that whether preamble is part of constitution or not, and the Supreme Court clearly said that it is not a part of constitution, but it can help in interpreting the constitution. So this was up to this case. But later, as we know that from time to time the constitution evolves, society evolves, and the interpretation of the constitution also changes. So there was one significant case, another significant case, which was Kesav Nanda Bharati case. Kesav Nanda Bharati case in 1973. So this was a very significant case. If you are a polity student, then I am sure that you must have heard this particular case of Kesav Nanda Bharati. So in this particular case, the question was before the Supreme Court that it was that can the preamble can the preamble be amended or not? Amended or not? As we note that in the earlier case, the Supreme Court clearly told that preamble is not a part of Constitution. So how it can be amended? So this was a question which was arise before the Supreme Court. But here Supreme Court rejected its earlier decision, which was that it was not a part of Constitution. But in this particular case, Supreme Court delivered three important judgment. First was that it is part of Constitution. So if it is a part of Constitution, then it can surely be amended. So amendability of Constitution is possible under Article 368. As we know that constitutional amendment is done under Article 368. But the Supreme Court gave a condition that it should not destroy the basic structure. So this doctrine of basic structure was evolved in this particular case of Kesavananda Bharati. So I told you that amendability is possible, but it should not destroy the basic structure. And Supreme Court from time to time in various judgment give it verdict that what are the part of basic structure, like word republic. India is a republic polity, it is a part of basic structure. India is a secular country, it is a part of basic structure. So we will learn about this particular basic structure in the coming videos, but for now you must be clear that amendability is possible, but it should not destroy the basic structure. Second thing is that I told you that first thing is that it is a part of Constitution, it can be amended, and other thing is that it basically does not put any limitation, on executive and legislature. So I told you that in the earlier case that it is just a declaration, it is a non-justiciable part, so it does not put any kind of restriction on the executive or legislature, because it is just a declaration. Like Constitution put some restriction on the executive and legislature, but here the preamble is just a declaration, it is non-justiciable. So we cannot challenge the government that the government is not following the preamble, this particular word or particular terminology. So it is a mere declaration. So this third thing was that it is non-justiciable, it clearly said. And the fourth thing is that, which earlier also was said by Supreme Court, that it has a role in interpretation, So this was a very significant case in which Supreme Court clearly told that preamble is a part of Constitution, it can be amended, it is non-justiciable, and it has a very significant role in the interpretation of various provisions of Constitution. And I told you that it has been amended only once in 1940 by the 42nd Amendment in 1976. So only one amendment of preamble has been done, and here I told you that three words were added, like socialist, secular, and integrity. And in various other judgment also, this Supreme Court judgment was reiterated. So you do not have to remember those all cases, but you have to remember these two cases. First I told you that Berubari Union, and second was the Kesavananda Bharati case. So this much is enough to remember about the preamble. Now coming back to the question, which you can easily solve with this basic information. I told you that it is non-justiciable, so it is correct. It can't be amended. So I told you that earlier in the Berubari Union, this question didn't arise, but in the case of Kesavananda Bharati, this question arises that can it be amended. So Supreme Court clearly told that it can be amended as it is a part of our Constitution. And the fourth statement is that preamble cannot override. So this also was said by Supreme Court that preamble cannot override the specific provision of constitution. That is, if there is any clause, if there is any, if any apparent clause between preamble and the provision of constitution, then you must remember that the provision of constitution will prevail. Constitutional provision will prevail. That is, they will override the provision of preamble, because I told you that it is non justiciable. It does not put any limit on the on the executive or legislature. So it's just a declaration. So the constitution of provision are more superior to the provision of preamble. So this also you can remember that preamble cannot override the specific provision of constitution. So this statement is also correct. This statement is wrong. So we can in this way take out the answer. 3 is in 3 is I told you that it is incorrect. It can be amended. This is also incorrect. 1 to 4. So B is the right answer. So this much is enough regarding the preamble. You have to remember various verdict given in the two cases. I told you that first was Berry Union and second was the Kisunda Bharti case. And I told you one amendment was also there with regard to preamble. So where 3 words were added. So you have to remember that also. Now coming to the next question. Which is the next question? Question number 14. The preamble of the constitution was amended. So I told you that it was in the time of Mrs. Indira Gandhi in the year 1976, where the 3 words were added, which were socialist, secular, and this word integrity. So it was done in the 42nd amendment, and year was 1976. Only one amendment has been done with respect to the preamble. Coming to next question. The term socialist was added. So I told you only one amendment. 42nd amendment is the right answer. The word socialist was brought into the preamble of Indian Constitution by which amendment? So I told you it is 42nd amendment. So these all are the similar question which you can easily solve. In the preamble adopted on 26 November 1949, which word were not present? So I told you that socialist word was not there, secular word was not there, integrity word was not there. Republic was already present in the original constitution. So 1 3 1 to 3 1 to 3 is the right answer. Okay, that is a word socialist. So similar question. Answer is 42nd amendment. Again word secular, 42nd amendment. So you do not have to remember many amendments, because there was only one amendment, that is 42nd amendment, and the word were only 3 words were added. Coming to the next question. The goal of the constitution is to assure all its citizens. So this is the 20th question. Goal of constitution. So to solve this question, this type of question, you have to be thorough to the polity, because social economic justice, the preamble talks about the social economic justice. DPSP also talks about the social economic justice. Here the question is saying that the goal of constitution, because constitution contain preamble, this DPSP, fundamental right, fundamental duties, liberty of thought and expression. This particular expression is also mentioned in the preamble. Equality of opportunity is also there. Dignity of individual is also there. So you can find these all words in the preamble if you remember the preamble. And in the constitution also these words are mentioned. Some are in DPSP, some are in fundamental rights, and some other provisions are also there. But if you at least remember the preamble, then also you can solve this question, and the answer is D. D is the right answer because all these provisions are there in the constitution. How many types of justice, liberty, equality, fraternity have been mentioned in the preamble? So this is a very I think this question is not much relevant, but you can remember that how many types of justice are given. So if we go through the preamble, then we can see that justice is of three types: social, economic, political. So this question is asking that how many type of justice is given. So one, two, three type of justice is given. Liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. Five type of liberties. Equality of two type, and fraternity, assuring the dignity of individual. So the question is justice is of three type. So this is I think the right answer. Liberty is of five type, equality of two type, and fraternity is one. So it has been mentioned only one time. So that is the correct answer. So you don't have to much cram this because this is not very important question. Coming to the next question, India is a republic. So I think before knowing the preamble, you must also be very clear about these various words which have been used in the preamble. What is the meaning of republic? So republic has three meanings. First meaning is that uh, you can remember in this way that democratic polity are of two type. First is monarch and second are republic. Like in the Britain, we have a monarchical system. Here, the head of the state is a hereditary position. It means that there is no election to appoint the head of the state. While in India, we know that head of the state is president, and we know that it is not a hereditary position because every 5 years the election take place to elect the president. So in this way you can remember that how the head of the state is elected. If it is elected by the people, then it is a republic polity. So in this way you can remember. So question says that, and there are other meaning also. Republic means, so this was the first meaning. Second was that the sovereignty lies in the hand of the people. Sovereignty lies in the hand of the people. The ultimate power lies in the hand of people. It means that ultimate power lies in the hand of the people. So this question says that India is a republic. So if it is the people who are the final authority in all matter. So people do not have the final authority in all matter, but the power lies in the hand of the people. Ultimate power. So there is no parliamentary system of government. That is incorrect. There is no hereditary ruler in India. So that is correct statement. India is a republic in that sense. I told you the example of Britain. There is one more meaning of this republic word, that there like in India is a republic. There is absence of privileges. Absence of privileges means that all public offices are open to the people. There is no discrimination of any type. So that is also the one of the interpretation of the republic. But primarily you have to remember that the head of the state, that is there is no hereditary position in India. There is no hereditary position in the case of public offices. Like in the case of president, we have elected president. So in this way this statement is correct. Coming to the next question, India has the people's sovereignty because the preamble of the constitution begin with democratic India. So if you know the preamble, that then the preamble says that we the people of India. So it clearly says that what is the source of this constitution. we the people means all the citizen. That is, the people are the ultimate authority. Source of power is people. So people sovereignty means the ultimate authority lies in the hand of the people. So we the people of India is the right answer of this question, because our preamble start with this word only, we the people of India, and this means people sovereignty. And we know that our constitution was made by the elected representative, though we know that they were nominated also, but we can say that they were, and the constitution was made by the our representative. So in a way, the people gave the authority to frame the constitution. So the authority, or the we can say the legitimacy to the constitution, is given by the people. So in this way, this question is asking the people sovereignty. So the answer is D. Coming to the next question, where have the word we the people of India has been used in the constitution of India? So we know that this word is in the very beginning of the preamble. So that is the preamble of the constitution. So answer is D. So coming to the next question. So I think this video has been too long, so I will end this video here only. But if you like our video, please subscribe, like and share also. Thank you and have a nice day.